All right, ready? All right, on today's episode, I welcome on the head coach of Pilgrim High School, boys basketball, that is, Coach Matt Fontaine. Coach, how are you today?
I'm good. Good. Thanks for having me on. Been following the site for a little bit, the podcast listening, and excited to be on.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate the kind words and, making the time for us and the listeners to come on the show. How are you doing during these COVID times?
It's been busy. Working, actually working in a nursing home, so that was a little bit of a struggle. One of the hot spots for this whole COVID time period. Making sure being safe with that, coming home being safe, and then on top of it, trying to keep up with the basketball stuff and staying in touch with the kids and making sure they understand what's going on. So it's been a struggle. It's been something different, but I feel like everyone's had to adapt in certain ways. So it's what we've had to do and what I've had to do. So just kind of roll with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough situation. We're all going through the same thing, just rolling with the punches until hopefully this all clears up and everything like that, right?
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully get something. But first, Matt, I want to take a step back before really getting into your coach career. I was like, at what age did you start playing basketball and kind of realize that you were good at the sport?
So basketball and baseball for me was always the two that I just always gravitated to. I played soccer, but basketball and baseball was always the two that brought me the most like enjoyment, the ones I would play all day with friends and whatnot. And yeah, so in high school, let's go back, middle school, we had a good group of kids playing together. We had a group of 5 kids that all made the middle school team for the first sixth grade group to ever make our middle school team.
Wow.
And we from there we went all the way through high school playing together, and we ended up losing in the state championship my senior year to Hendricken down at the Ryan Center. But basketball was one of those things to me that just was always fun to play. I loved the whole X's and O's of it. And then the coaching side of it was just one of those, in talking to coaches that I had, a few coaches used to say to me, like, you'll be a very good coach one day. And it's just something that stuck with me.
Yeah.
Always wished I'd played longer, but went on and continued to play baseball through college. Didn't even play basketball after high school, but it was baseball after high school for me.
Oh, wow. And first, like, couple questions, like, what was it like playing like that run to that Division I state tournament championship against Bishop Hendricken? You guys ended up playing, right? Correct.
Yeah.
What was that like running and playing against that Bishop Hendricken that had Joe Mazzulla, and was Jimmy Barron on that team as well?
No.
Uh,
Jimmy was a few years before that. It
yeah.
was Joe Mazzulla. David Ruffle was a junior. We had lost to them the year before in the semifinals, and
Okay.
then we knew we had a solid team. We were one of the bigger teams in the state. Like I said, we've been playing together through youth leagues, middle school. We had a great year. It's just one of those teams as a coach now you dream to have, probably. Just the kids get along, everyone understands where everyone's going to be. It just came down to they had one extra opportunity, and we made a few mistakes down the end of the game, and they hit the clutch shot and we didn't, and that was it. Lost the buzzer essentially to Joe.
Oh, damn, that's tough. That's really tough. And what was that decision? And what position did you play in baseball, and how did you decide to go to play college baseball?
So baseball, again, little league, was like one of the better players. It took me a few years to adjust to the big field. And then once I got to high school, Cranston West, we had a solid team. We ended up winning JV state championship as sophomores, playing varsity. Lost to Hendricken as juniors. So there was a lot of run-ins with Hendricken for me.
Yeah.
But then senior year, just like going into senior year, I could tell I wanted to continue playing baseball after school. So I looked at a couple schools that had at the time. I was looking at sports management. So I found Western New England and Eastern Connecticut were the two schools I narrowed down to. And then learning about the programs, Eastern Connecticut had a solid baseball program, 4-time national champion. Coach had been there for like 40 plus years, Bill Hawawadi. So ended up choosing Eastern Connecticut. Went there. We made 4 straight NCAA tournaments. Went to the World Series my freshman year.
Wow.
Little East champions a couple times. So just a great time. Pitched. I didn't get to that.
Yeah.
So hit and pitched in high school. Then when I got to Eastern, I decided to just focus on pitching. But having Coach Holowati, who's a 40 plus year vet, over 1,400 wins, something like that, ridiculous. Wow. He taught me a lot, good and bad, some things. He's the typical old school coach that get in your face, but
yeah,
I got it, and it helped me get to where I am. And it's one of those coaching role models that you kind of just learn from. And then when you decide, hey, yeah, I want to coach, you learn from situations like him and then some other coaches that I had growing up.
That's really cool. And now, what was your fastball at? What was the top speed that you ever thrown at?
Before I hurt my elbow, I was pitching in the NACBL All-Star game in Torrington, Connecticut. And that inning, I pitched one inning, and there was probably about 25 radar guns behind the plate. And the coach I knew was sitting behind there. He told me after the game, he's like, "Did you know you touched 94?" I was like, "I didn't." But
wow, holy crap.
I was gassed up for that. So 94 was the hardest I've heard I threw. But after my junior year, my elbow kind of gave out a little, had to rehab it. Should have got Tommy John, didn't. But yeah, that's my baseball story right there. It took me a while to rehab it. I pitched the senior year, then had a couple tryouts, just decided I didn't want to go chasing it anymore, and just kind of just said, I'm just going to get going with life, essentially.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough decision sometimes, but I think, you made the right one. It led you into the right direction, right? Of getting into coaching and everything.
Yeah. I came back, and at that time, like, baseball was what brought me through college, but in the back of my head, basketball was always the one that I said I wanted to coach. Like, it was just the X's and O's of basketball. Baseball to me is more just like it's more managing, like personalities and making. But if a kid goes out there and is throwing 95 and is going to throw a 2-hitter, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
Like, that's my opinion. I'm not like, I love baseball, and some of it was timing with work. Like, I just wouldn't be able to get out and coach baseball in the right time. But basketball was always the one I wanted to put my effort and energy to. And that's where it led me to. And it really it started coaching a youth basketball team in Cranston, where I grew up. My high school basketball coach heard I was back home, called me and said, did I want to volunteer and at Cranston West? And that's how I started at Cranston West for a few years.
That's awesome. And how did you move on from Cranston West? You went to go be an assistant. Was it at Coventry, or was that the second one? Or
So Cranston West, I was there for 3 years. And then the coach left. And at that time, I had taken a couple of years to kind of get my career situated. I had just finished physical therapy school, so I wanted to get situated with that. And then from there, I had just gotten married, and I realized I wanted to get back into coaching. So I switched. I was still in physical therapy, but I had switched where I was working so I could have better hours for coaching. And at that time, the coach I was coaching with at Cranston West and was my high school basketball coach, he had moved to Coventry and had gotten hired as the head coach there. So I went there for a year.
Oh, wow.
And I was planning on going back to Coventry, and Pilgrim just happened to open up. I saw the job posting for it, and it's literally right across the street from my house. So I was like, I was in the hospital. My daughter was being born. I remember seeing it pop up, and we were waiting. I was like, there's only so many jobs I would look for right now, and it's literally right across the street from my house. So went in for it, and that's how I ended up at Pilgrim.
That's awesome. And how do you take your experiences from your assistant coaching positions, working with your old high school coach, and just learning from other coaches? How do you take those and mold your own philosophy and kind of create your own culture?
I feel like you got to be a sponge. Like, you got to take as much in as you can. I've been to many clinics. I've talked to coaches almost daily. I'm scrolling Twitter, just trying to pick minds. I'll watch the NBA playoffs. I'm a college basketball fiend. I'll watch it all day. And but then you have to understand what you can take back to yourself and implement at your school. And you have to have your style. I like to think I have a style. But then again, it has to fit the school. It has to fit the makeup of the players. And you can't come in and just say, this is how it's going to be. No way, shape or form. Like you have to be able to adapt to situations as well. And that's what I learned from taking it from all the coaches that I've had, that I've played for, played with, played against. Sometimes some of the best things is you see a coach do something against you guys, you're like, all right, I'm going to steal that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's being open to learning new things. And then learning how to teach it and adapt it.
That's very true. I think being a teacher and adapting is the biggest thing. I always think halftime adjustments are always like a huge thing. I think always making those is a big thing, or adjustments in game. What kind of playing style did you like that you brought over to Pilgrim, or that fits your mold of kids?
So I like to try and keep it as simple as possible, because not every kid learns everything the same way.
Yeah.
I've learned that. Being an assistant, you're able to sit back and see what some kids can take in, and you're listening to them a little more. And I've noticed it jumping to the head coach. Sometimes you forget, like, just to slow things down, keep it simple,
Yeah.
because you think they might be able to pick it up, but they need a little bit longer time, and they're busy. They have a full day of school. They might have something going on at home, so you got to remember, like, you got to take it slow sometimes with them, and it's a quick season. You got to remember, we start right after Thanksgiving, and we're playing games within 2 weeks. So when I came in, when I came in, we had a good group of sophomores, and we had 7 seniors. We were trying to bring that all together, and we struggled. I thought by the end of the year, my first year, we were able to pick things up, and we were playing much better than obviously last year. We got a couple transfers to come back from Hendricken, and we had a good run. We made playoffs, but we had a tough week early in the season that essentially booted us from the state playoff by, I think we missed the state playoff by like 0.8 points or something like that.
That's tough.
If you remember, we had the one game where the kid hit the full court shot to send the game to overtime. So just like coulda, shoulda, wouldas, but it's given us a little bit of fire to come back this year. But going back to initially what you were saying, it's keeping it simple. I like to try and play as fast as we can, but at the same time, fast and controlled. So
I think that's the best.
Kind of ran on with that one.
Yeah, no, you're totally fine. Honestly, I always tell people, like, any stories, anything that you can share, I don't care. Go on. This is all about you. This is no.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's it like, when you first come in, you mentioned you had those 7 seniors and you had that group of sophomores. What's it like to get those seniors to buy in and get those sophomores to buy in when your first, your first season there? How is that, like, tough, or is it like, how do you get those kids to buy in right away?
I think it's always gonna be tough. But my thing is, and what I strive to be as a coach is, I tell them I'm always gonna be honest. I'm gonna give you honesty. You might not like it, but I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna tell you the truth, because if I try to lie to you, then I'm gonna have to remember what I lied to you about. And that's what I try and tell them. Like, don't lie to me. Just tell me the truth, and that it will help you move forward in life even after this. So yeah, it was tough. And not winning doesn't help those situations. Every coach wants to win, but you're just gonna learn that you're trying to build a program. You're trying to keep the name going, because Pilgrim has had some solid years. You want to just prove that you can, that you know what you're doing when you come in. You want those kids to understand that. So that first year, it's really building the relationships, and just being truthful and honest with them, I believe.
Yeah, it's true. It's really, that's a good way, a good model to come in with, and good philosophy to come in and get those kids to buy in and be honest. I think be honest is the best way. Like you said, it's like, if you lie, then you're like, I gotta remember what the hell I just lied to you about and what I just said, and then the kid
Right.
can call you out on that, and you're like, oh,
Exactly.
don't want to deal with that. That's great. And though this upcoming season with everything that's going on, like, have you heard anything from the Rhode Island Interscholastic League or anything like that that's going on?
I just I try and talk as much with some of our other coaches, see what they're hearing. I know Henry Coleman, he's always in contact with the interscholastic league. He's our president of the boys basketball committee. So what we're hearing is, I'm assuming we're going to have some kind of season at some point. I don't know if it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a full season. And it might be different schedules, might be more regionalized, so we play more teams around us.
Yeah.
But it's just, that's what I'm hearing. It's trying to keep that information and send that information to the guys and staying focused. And because I really haven't seen them, I talked to them, but I haven't seen them because we really weren't given clearance really up until this past week, where I can actually go and do some work with the kids.
Yeah.
But following the guidelines. So it's now trying to develop a couple of things that we can work on safely, following the correct guidelines. That's the biggest thing right now. You see with all the football stuff, some of the cases going around right now. So you don't want to be the program that has those cases going around first.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be the reason why either the league gets shut down or
Right.
you guys get posted on the game.
Do it smart, and that's the thing. Like, I worked in it. When you're smart with it and you know how to handle it, and you try and show that to the kids, I think we'll be okay. But it's just trying to develop the best situation for everybody.
Yeah, that's really true. That's a good point. Well, I hope you guys do have a season. I hope things work out for you guys. You also are a coach at the Rhode Island Magic as well, too, correct?
Yeah, I did. I did 2 seasons with the Magic, and I still talk with all those coaches. I still give them input. Very close with a lot of those coaches. So it's a very good program. Dave Tedeschi is one of the people if I'm even at Pill, like if I have a question or if I get to throw an idea by somebody, I'll throw it by Dave, because him not being affiliated with any school right now, technically, his son was at Smithfield, but
Yeah.
Dave's someone that I can throw a lot of things to, and he'll give me honest feedback and feedback that I trust. So that's stuff you need as a coach, because like I said earlier, like you need to be able to be okay with the fact that you're not going to know everything, and sometimes having another set of eyes can help you.
Yep. Oh yeah, big time. I've been a coach of past. It's always nice to have that second pair of eyes of someone else to come into the practice and see, like, you know, maybe you should try this or do this, or, you know, put your 4 out here instead of there. Yeah, it's always nice to have an extra pair of eyes.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things about being a basketball coach and working in basketball, I think it's great that, and something that I learned from like my mentor down in Dallas as well too, as a skill coach, is he always said I like working with other people because other people see other things that I don't see, or like they're better at some things that I'm not better at, but we all learn from each other.
No, it's great. You nailed it. We have 3 total coaches on our staff at Pilgrim, and I feel like Jeremy Wilner, young kid, he's our JV coach, and he's involved with AAU with the basketball club of Rhode Island now. And Matt Manzi, he did a ton of stuff with CLCF youth programs. So between those 2 plus me, we can sit all day and get on a text thread and just start throwing ideas off each other, and we all see things differently, but in good ways. So it's a good group to be coaching with too, and that's just as important as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's really great, and it's great they have great assistants and people to help you out, and good crew. I'm excited for you guys' season to come up. Definitely gonna have to get you back on once the season gets going and stuff like that, and then, like, you know, we'll do a nice outlook on the season.
No, I look forward to it, and I'm hoping we have that option of having the season. And yeah, I know we'll all be rearing for it to go.
Yeah, definitely. I got one more question for you, Matt, and it's just a little outside of basketball. What do you like to do outside of coaching? Which one of your favorite things to do around Rhode Island, or you know, what do you enjoy?
I love traveling.
Yeah.
So we have my daughter just turned 2 a few weeks ago. And then we have another baby on the way coming in end of March.
Yeah.
So we're hoping the season goes regularly scheduled, ends at the regular time.
Yeah.
But we love traveling. My wife and I, and we just love having things to plan for. We've cruised in the past. We actually had a cruise canceled because of COVID, so that was fun right after the season. Yeah, traveling's always fun with family, things to look forward to. And then outside of that, meet a lot of people. I've played adult slow pitch softball. That's something I like doing, playing. Keeps me that competitive spirit going. Don't get to play as much as before because just life and things like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then just following sports, PC basketball season ticket holder, love the Patriots, Red Sox, just everything, just staying active.
Nice. That's awesome. That's good. That's really good. I like all those. Yeah, PC. I know no PC URI game this year, huh? It sucks.
It's amazing. It's amazing they can't get the two schools from the same state to play.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You figure that'd be like the first game of the season, if
You
anything.
think that would be the automatic scheduled game?
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting how that didn't happen. It sucks because I love that PC URI rivalry. Those games are so much fun and the atmosphere is
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. I love messing with other coaches, other people I know that like URI versus PC. This that. It's all fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay neutral because I'm trying to work on both coaches. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
come on
I hear you. It's tough though. It's
Yeah,
tough sometimes.
yeah, it is. But this has been great, Matt. I really can't thank you enough for your time coming on the show. I can't wait to have you back on once the season gets going, and definitely have to do the season outlook. Maybe do a coaches roundtable. We'll have to put you on with some coaches that we've had on in the past that I can.
Yeah, we talk daily, so I'm sure it'll be a good time if you get us all on together.
I know I had some good laughs with Coach Felicetti and Coach Coleman talking with them, so I can only imagine.
Good guys.
Yeah, put all three of you guys together. I can imagine what it's going to be like.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. But Matt, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on the show. This has been great, and it's a great get to know you for the fans out there, and looking forward to the season and everything coming up.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and good luck with everything. And you're doing a great job.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me.
No problem.
All right, take it easy.
Have a good one.